YouTube, what's poppin', baby? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a great day. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button and the like button as well. It's been a week since I talked to y'all, and there's been a lot of hype videos going around, and I kind of just want to address the question that everyone seems to continue to ask, and it surrounds DeAndre Hopkins. And the question is, do we really need DeAndre Hopkins? That is the $1,000,000 question. Now, there has been multiple reports of DeAndre Hopkins. He's looking for homes in Strongsville. He was reported seen in Cleveland. He had signed a new agent that's Cleveland based, who's got whose agents is, come on, Zay. He's got Myles Garrett under contract, or you know what I mean. He's got a Cleveland based agent, and with these hype videos coming out, seeing how the connection between Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin, and not to even mention Amari Cooper and DPJ, this is starting to look real special. Now, I know it's only OTAs. There is no pass rush. There is no real defense going on, but this is 7-on-7s, and this is one-on-one matchups that we are seeing, and we are starting to see some of that potential in this receiving core. And it poses the question that it's just like, do we really need him? And I talked about this last time I was live on TikTok, saying that this is more than likely just a luxury ad. And Van Pelt actually came on and said, I'm sure we could find something for him. And it's just like, I sit back and I think, and it's like, you can never have too much talent, but it's like, knowing that Odell Beckham got $18 million, we know DeAndre Hopkins is going to want something in the range of that ballpark. And I almost feel like for that type of money, we don't really necessarily need him. Now, I'm not saying that I do not want DeAndre Hopkins. I've made it very clear that I would love to have DeAndre Hopkins reunited with Deshaun Watson. But at the end of the day, man, when you see some of this stuff and you see these hype videos, and I know it's easy for us Browns fans to get lost in the sauce because every year we can point to something and say we can get excited about it. But this year, it feels weird saying it because I feel like I said this last year, but this year does feel different. Deshaun Watson has a full year. There is no suspension talk. There is no distractions as far as when is Deshaun going to play. He's going to have a full offseason. He's going to have a full OTAs. He's going to have a full training camp. He's going to have a full everything to get this offense down pack and to build this chemistry with these receivers and this offense. And what I'm seeing, man, I'm absolutely loving it. The deep ball to Marquise Goodwin was so beautiful to see. The connections with him and Elijah Moore, every time that there's a video the Browns are posted, it's starting to feel more and more like, yeah, we might not need D-Hop. Now, if you can get D-Hop for the price of somewhere around $10 million, $12 million, maybe I'd be for it. But I'm not looking to sign D-Hop for that Odell Beckham money, especially knowing that we're kind of deep at the receiver core. Now, a lot of people are going to say, how can you be deep? None of these guys have proven anything. But it's the superstar quarterback effect. And what I mean by that is, when you've got a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, other receivers' gameplay are going to be elevated. So, yeah, Marquise Goodwin may not be a 1-2, hell, even a 3. But when you put him with a guy like Deshaun Watson, and you know the type of speed that Marquise Goodwin has, it becomes an asset because you know who your number one is in Amari Cooper. You know that Elijah Moore has unlimited potential. You already know what DPJ offers. Oh, we're not even talking about Cedric Tillman. Everyone's gameplay is going to get elevated. So whether Elijah Moore and Deshaun, or whether Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin is a 3 and 4, they could be a 2-3 with Deshaun Watson at quarterback because we know how well Deshaun Watson can see the field and how special of an arm talent he has. And Marquise Goodwin actually came out and said he's got God's arm. Like, this is high praise coming from your key weapons. And this isn't the first time we've heard this stuff. All last year when Deshaun Watson came back, everyone praised how good of an arm he has. And everyone's going to look at the 6-game sample size and they're going to be, well, he hasn't played in this and that long. Well, now's the time to put the money where their mouth is, the $230 million where it is, because while we do have Nick Chubb, the best running back in the league, we know that this is going to be a passing offense, exactly what Kevin Stefanski wants, and I'm sure exactly what Deshaun Watson wants. So a lot of people need to get used to seeing the 12, myself included, we need to get used to seeing that box score being about 15 carries for Chubb, because they are going to air this out. With the amount of talent, Cedric Tillman is going to be a red zone threat. Oh, pair that with DPJ, or David Njoku, yeah, and DPJ. Amari Cooper is going to Amari Coop what he does. You already know what he does. He's going to give you 1,100 yards. Elijah Moore, I think, is the one piece that could really take this over the top, because Cedric Tillman is going to be one of our cornerstone pieces going forward in the future if he can live up to the potential that he has, because I think there will be some changes going into next year or the year after that. Amari Cooper more than likely probably will not be with us unless he takes a major pay cut. And I just feel like if Elijah Moore is everything that we think he can be, this offense has potential to be very, very, very special. And I've said it before, and a lot of people think it sounds crazy because they're looking at the 6-game sample size with Deshaun Watson. This should be a top 5 offense, bare minimum. Our defense should be top 10, but I think it has potential to be top 5 as well. So this is a big season for a lot of people, coaches, special players. One thing that I did want to address is the Myles Garrett not being at OTAs. And I talked about this at the beginning of the offseason, and I talked about how things could turn into a disaster really fast, and how we may start to see some of these key players, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, like, if we don't have a good season this year, matter of fact, if we don't have a great season this year, we all thought the trade talk rumors with Nick Chubb last year were bad, and we didn't really have the Myles Garrett trade talks last year, but I did say don't be surprised if we see Denzel Ward's name thrown around in trade talks. Those are going to be the pieces that we talk about. Should we trade to get draft capital for it? Myles Garrett, Chubb, and Denzel Ward. Now, do I think we get rid of those guys? Absolutely not. I don't think Jim Schwartz allows that to happen, because I think this defense is going to be really well. I do think we are a 10-win minimum team this year, and I think if we win 10 games, I think that will be enough to keep those type of guys happy. Now, as far as Nick Chubb, I don't think that's more so on him. I think that's more so on the front office. But at the end of the day, I think they'll respect Nick Chubb. And if Nick Chubb wants to stay, I don't see why they would push him out of the door. Now, with Myles Garrett, it just feels a little bit different, because it's like, why isn't he at OTAs? That is a little bit questioning. Obviously, it's optional. It's not a big deal. But when you see all of the key guys there participating in OTAs, it does suck to know that your best player on the team is not there. And it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, is he just doing this to get a little extra rest before he goes into grind mode? Or is this a little bit of a foreshadowing of, hey, if we don't get it together, you may have to start looking to move me somewhere else, because Myles Garrett is not going to continue to have unsuccessful seasons, and I don't think he's going to be that Joe Thomas type of guy where he's going to thug it out through the worst of the worst. And I don't think he can get any worse than what Myles has already been through, and I think he wants to win ultimately, which all of these guys want to win. Let's just be honest. But I'm not going to panic on it. I have full faith in our front office. You already know me and Barry we trust. He will get it done. And at the end of the day, this is all going to come down to how well is Deshaun Watson going to perform, and how well is Kevin Stefanski going to allow this offense to thrive? Because once the offense starts thriving, the defense is going to start thriving. And once they both start thriving, we got playoffs in our future. And we're not just talking about a wild card or a one-round playoff run. No, we're talking about a deep playoff run, even with this AFC being absolutely stacked. So I'm anxious to know your guys' thoughts on, do you think we really need DeAndre Hopkins? And what would you be willing to pay him? So drop that in the comments and make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe. And I'll catch you boys on the next one. Peace.